by a show of hands, how many of you think that it is possible for zombies to be alive? Okay, we have a couple. Well, my mission today is to prove to you that you're wrong and that zombies are not alive. So from the official Merriam-Webster dictionary, I actually found the definition because a lot of times in media and different shows, zombies are portrayed in different ways. So I wanted to get a general understanding of zombies since I'm not that into zombie shows. So basically it's a willless and basically just a person who has died and it has supernaturally been brought back to life. So that's generally what this definition is going towards. Next I'm going to show you a little video. Show you how zombies are not very functional at all. So it kind of shows you how dismembered they are in general. Okay. So, more of a scholarly approach to this is Koshland in 2002 actually kind of defined some characteristics of life that are key to being alive. And so I kind of adapted it and turned it into 5 key characteristics. And I'm going to talk about 3 of them, which I feel zombies definitely do not fit into. So the 3 that I'm going to talk about are the ability to grow and reproduce, excrete waste, and respond to the environment. So those are the 3 that my presentation is going to be based around. And also, outside of my area of science, the field of philosophy actually has debated zombies being in existence and alive. So as you see over here is more of the philosophy side, is Gearson in 2014 was talking about zombies and that they do not have consciousness. So you can't think to yourself, what is it like to be a zombie? Because zombies can't feel. And then another person in the field of philosophy was Smithies in 2012, and this was more of a metaphysical debate. And he was talking about how zombies could have cognition so that they could understand what is happening to them. If they can say, oh, my arm just fell off. But for consciousness, they can't say, oh, that hurt to have my arm fall off. So they can understand what's happening, but they can't process it and feel it to be alive. Okay, so even if they were somehow alive, if they got to that point, they would not be here for long. Because as you can see in a lot of pictures in the media and in Walking Dead is a common one, they often have their appendages falling off and they're kind of dragging themselves along. So I took this from an exercise science standpoint, and Widmeyer and his colleagues kind of, in their studies, they talked about exercise science and how if they have torn muscles, then the zombies will have minimal or no movement, because if your muscles and tendons are not connected, you're not going to have fluid movement. And also, the central nervous system is running through your body. So if things are falling apart, your central nervous system is not going to be able to communicate with the certain muscles to give them the ability to move. And then another point that I found really interesting is if their heads are damaged, that you see a lot of times, their heads are half misshapen, how are their brains actually working? And I actually took an abnormal psychology class, and it talked about different areas of the brain being enlarged. So I know in a lot of media stories, you'll hear of someone, of cannibalism, or of someone trying to eat someone else, and, they're a real-life zombie. A lot of times that's actually just an enlargement of either the amygdala, which is giving them anger issues and aggression. So a lot of times that's just, brain damage and not a zombie. So, and then also another point is that all the wounds and the blood that you see on zombies, it's most likely that they get eaten alive from the bacteria and the viruses that would be in those wounds, and they wouldn't be able to heal themselves. Okay, so responding to the environment was one of the 3 key characteristics of life that I'm talking about today. So, as a human, we rely on our five senses for survival, and in particular, we see and we hear. So that's how, if you were in the wild and a zombie was trying to eat a human's brains, it wouldn't go very well for them if they're starting to fall apart. Their eyes and their ear canals probably would not be functional. So even if they could walk around and try to hunt people, humans would be able to avoid them easily because they couldn't really see or hear and use those 5 senses to adequately get enough nutrition to survive. Oops, did not mean to do that. So, if they don't eat, it means that they probably would not be around for long. So, excrete waste was another one of the key characteristics. So, here we have a picture of the stomach, and think about it. It goes in the stomach, it through the intestines, and then out it goes. So zombies always have holes everywhere on their body, like I was talking about with their brains not being functional. Well, most likely they're going to have holes in their intestines. So if they eat food, say they eat brains, then it's going to go into their stomach, and their stomach is going to just collect all the food, and the brains will ferment inside their stomach, and then their stomachs would eventually explode. So without them being able to break down the food and excrete the waste out of their body, they would explode from the inside out and not have any nutrients to live on. Okay. And the third of my 3 characteristics for life is the ability to grow and reproduce. I thought of this on more of a cellular level. So Albert's in 2002, his studies revolved around cells and biology. So cells would not divide, and then they would not be able to communicate with each other. So the regrowth of skin and different limbs, the cells would not be able to communicate with each other to tell the different cells when things were needed throughout the body. So the body would not work as a system, and they would not be able to regenerate. And then I thought a really interesting point with things falling out is after they lose their teeth, they would be kind of useless, because if a zombie, if all their teeth fell out, then they really wouldn't be able to eat anything. So that kind of goes with the grow and reproduce, is that they wouldn't be able to get nutrients in their body for them to keep growing. So in summary, the 3 key characteristics that I focused my presentation on today to prove that zombies are not alive are the ability to grow and reproduce, excrete waste, and respond to the environment. And then I also talked about muscle contractions and how the limbs falling off, the zombie would not be able, the central nervous system could not support the limbs and get the muscles to move fluently. And bacteria and viruses would eat the zombie alive with all the open wounds. And the stomach would burst because they would not be able to pass along the food to excrete the waste. And cell division most likely would not happen efficiently within the zombie so that it could dwell on Earth. Are there any questions?